I never imagined the beginning of the end would start with a theater flyer. We'd been married for almost 7 years, and things between me and Alina were normal. Safe. Too safe, maybe. We lived in a sleepy suburb, had a golden retriever named Max, and a backyard garden she lovingly tended. Life was routine. Coffee at 7, goodbye kiss at 8, dinner by 6, and a show or reading before bed. Predictable. And for the longest time, that was enough for both of us. It was her idea to join the local community theater. Something different, she said. Just for fun. I wasn't worried. Alina had always been expressive and artsy in that Pinterest meets organic coffee shop kind of way. She lit up when she had something new to do, and I supported it, even helped her rehearse lines in the kitchen over stir-fry. But then she met Julian. Julian Harper was the lead in their upcoming play, The Autumn of Our Youth. He was tall, had that charming scruff that made him look effortlessly put together, and had a voice like warm honey laced with secrets. Everyone in the cast seemed to orbit around him, including my wife. At first, I told myself it was nothing. She talked about him often, how dedicated he was to his craft, how generous he was during rehearsals. I pretended to listen, focused on chopping vegetables or scrolling through emails. She'd laugh at his jokes in ways I hadn't seen in years, but I chalked it up to her being excited about acting again. Then the rehearsals started going later. At first, just by half an hour. Then an hour. Sometimes she wouldn't get home until almost midnight, smelling of makeup and stage dust, and something else. Once or twice, I noticed her phone light up with a message from JH. She said it was theater logistics. Still, I didn't confront her. I didn't want to be that guy. Jealous. Insecure. Paranoid. So I sat with it. Swallowed it. Let it fester quietly, convincing myself it would pass. Then came opening night. I sat in the 4th row, flowers on my lap, heart in my throat. Alina played the young, passionate lead opposite Julian's brooding loner. I knew the script. I had read it with her 100 times. But nothing could prepare me for the way she looked at him on stage. Not just like a character in love, but a woman captivated. Her eyes didn't act. They adored. Her hands trembled when he touched her, and the final kiss, they held it longer than any director would have blocked. The audience applauded. I clapped too hollowly. She smiled when she saw me afterward, eyes gleaming. Wasn't it incredible? She asked. I nodded. Yeah. You were convincing. The second weekend, I noticed something different. She didn't come straight home after the show. I waited, pacing in the living room with the lights off. Her phone rang unanswered. I told myself maybe the cast went out to celebrate. She came home close to 2 a.m., cheeks flushed, hair tousled. Where were you? I asked gently. Julian's, she said too quickly. Just a few of us. Talking about lines. Next roles. You know. I didn't. But I said I did. Later, when she was in the shower, I checked her phone. No password. As if she wanted me to see. The messages weren't explicit, but they didn't need to be. You were luminous tonight. I almost forgot we were on stage. I can still feel your breath on my neck. Do you ever wish the play didn't end? I sat in the kitchen for hours, staring at the cold coffee in my mug, thinking about the moment I started losing her. I couldn't pinpoint it. Maybe it was when she first walked into that dusty rehearsal room. Maybe it was before that, long before Julian. But one thing was clear. I wasn't the man standing opposite her on that stage. And I didn't know if I ever had been. The night after I read those messages, I couldn't sleep. The house was silent, save for the rhythmic breathing of Alina upstairs. I sat in the dark kitchen, turning the words over and over in my mind like sharp stones I couldn't stop touching. I thought about waking her, asking outright, but what good would it do? I already knew. The next morning, she was cheerful, humming as she made coffee. "Big rehearsal today," she said, tying her hair back. "Julian wants to go over the new scene he's writing." "New scene?" I asked. She froze a little. "Yeah, just for fun. Something we might workshop in the next show." Something clicked into place. This wasn't just a fleeting crush or some post-marital hiccup. She was building something new with him. I nodded, pretending to understand. Pretending I didn't feel like the floor was giving way beneath me. I didn't follow her. Not yet. Instead, I waited until the final show of the season, the closing night performance. Alina had mentioned Julian planned to celebrate afterward. Cast party, drinks, probably something more. She didn't invite me. That night, I watched the performance from the back row, barely able to see the stage. I wasn't there to applaud. I was there to watch how she moved around him when she thought I wasn't looking. I saw it all, how her hand lingered on his shoulder, how he whispered something behind the curtain that made her laugh and glanced toward the audience with guilt in her eyes. They kissed again in the final scene. And like before, it didn't feel like acting. I didn't go backstage after the show. I waited in the parking lot, saw them slip out a side exit together. They didn't even try to hide it this time. Julian's hand was on her lower back. She leaned into him. I followed them, not closely. Just enough to see them disappear into a quiet little motel off the highway. Room 204. I didn't need to know what happened inside. I already did. The next morning, I packed a suitcase, not hers, mine. I left it in the living room with a note. "You found your stage. I won't stand in the wings anymore." I moved into a friend's guest house that night. She called once, twice, left a voicemail that started with, "I didn't mean for it to go this far," and ended with, "Can we just talk?" I didn't respond. The divorce was quiet. Clean even. No kids, no shared property besides the house, which I let her keep. I didn't want it anymore. Every room in that place was a scene from a story I no longer wanted to read. I heard through mutual friends that the theater group dissolved a few months later. Julian got cast in some regional tour and left. Alina didn't follow. I wondered if she regretted it, if she ever sat alone in the theater and remembered how it felt to stand in the lights, pretending. Me? I moved on, eventually. It took time. Some wounds heal in silence, away from the spotlight. But I'll never forget the moment I realized my wife was acting out a romance on stage that felt more real than our marriage ever had in the end. That night, I didn't just lose Alina. I lost the version of myself who believed love was enough to keep the show going. Sometimes, the curtain falls not with a bang, but with a breathless silence and a single, quiet step away.